Welcome to another episode of Sanford Says. I'm Lisa Holder, Communications Officer, and we have a very special guest with us today. His name is Mike Jones. Mike Jones is the GIS Analyst for the City of Sanford. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Lisa. Thanks for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. Can we just first start off, what does GIS stand for? What do the letters stand for?
Sure. GIS stands for Geographic Information System.
Okay, let's stop there.
Okay.
Okay. So, folks, we're going to talk today about GIS and what that is, how we use it, and all of that. Here at the City of Sanford, it's very important, very critical to our mission and our services and what we provide to you and how we provide to you. But first off, we're going to get to know Mike Jones a little bit better. Mike, I know you've been with the city for a very long time. How long?
24 years.
24 years. Thank you for your service. 24 years to the City of Sanford. So let's ask you, what's your favorite thing about Sanford?
Well, I'd have to say what I really love about Sanford is just the historical nature. I came from South Florida, and we didn't really have what you have here. Everything was new, or fairly new. And I really do appreciate just the sense of history in the city. I love the historic districts, the brick streets, the businesses. It's really quaint, and I think Sanford really has something special with that asset.
Right. And Mike, I'd like to add to this podcast by saying that you, because of your knowledge and your institutional knowledge and your time here with the City of Sanford, you helped also design the City of Sanford's new branding logo and city logo, and we appreciate that. It's been about 2 years now, but it's been successful, and I wanted to thank you for that. Using elements of all of these Sanford icons, the clock and our history and all of that. So thanks again. The second question is, what's your favorite Disney movie?
If I have to think of something really quick, I don't know. I guess maybe Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch. Okay, that's good to know. I particularly like Wall-E. I thought that was kind of cute. But all right, I bet you haven't seen Lilo and Stitch in a long time, have you? Or
No, not really. It's been a while. My kids are grown now.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I haven't rewatched it that many times, but I did enjoy it. I don't know if we want to get into the psychological reasons why you might like that movie, but I thought it was just really...
Yeah, because Disney movies always have like a story, an adult story behind it,
right,
a lesson to learn, right?
I kind of liked, because it was, to me, it just seemed kind of outside the typical Disney mold of movies. It was very human.
Yeah.
Not like, it seemed like it could be, other than the whole alien thing. But
right.
Just the family dynamic, it looked at more of like reality of the way families may be today and not the idolized version.
Sure. Last question, Mike. What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
I'm really basic. I just like chocolate ice cream. Vanilla is good
that
too.
That works.
Just the basics. I'm happy.
Chocolate
Mix
is
them up,
you could, exactly. Yeah. Chocolate, you could put cookie dough in there, chips,
you
whatever.
Always
That's
know what you're gonna get. So.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into the actual topic for today, which is, what is GIS? So Mike, let's start with really explaining the details of that. What is GIS?
Sure. GIS, like I said, a Geographic Information System, it's basically, like you could call it, a framework for gathering and managing and analyzing data. And so basically it consists of maps and data and analysis. So probably most people would think of maps. Generally, that's like a quick way to say, what do you do? I make maps. But they're just a container for data layers and analytics that we work with. Data is used by GIS, and it can take a lot of different forms. It can be things like imagery, it can be base maps, but really the data we use in GIS, it all has a geographic component, or you could think of it as an address. And then Also, analysis is the other big piece of GIS, and that allows us to take information and view it in a new perspective, see relationships between things. Say, if you had a spreadsheet, you could look at data and you might not be able to see patterns, but if you can take that spreadsheet information and put it in a map, then a lot of times relationships become apparent or trends become apparent. So that's the power of GIS. It lets you see things that maybe aren't evident just by looking at numbers.
Okay. And so I know the city of Sanford uses GIS in our really important areas, of course, utilities, public works, police, planning, and others. So it touches all of these very critical services that we provide to our residents, our customers, and visitors. Can you share specifically how the city uses GIS?
Sure. Probably a lot of people don't realize that we do use GIS, and it is available to a lot of people on a daily basis. But for example, our website, we have GIS apps that allow a person to find out who their elected officials are at the local, state, and federal level. They can also check their garbage collection and recycle days. They just put their address in, and it'll tell them when their pickup is and the next pickup. They can also find out zoning and land use for their property by putting in their address. They can also take an interactive look at some of our parks. We have GIS apps for Fort Mellon Park, Toohey Park, and Paw Park. And there's also our Pathways to Histories. We have a few of those tours that the planning department had developed. Those are also available in interactive GIS maps.
Okay.
Let's see.
And our website is sanfordfl.gov.
Right. And also, that's kind of the public-facing side. But in our day-to-day operations, as you mentioned, there's a good number of departments that make use of GIS. For example, the planning department, they use it for public hearing notifications. They also have developed a really cool interactive map showing development planned for the city. That's really neat. It's on the website. The utilities division, they're a real heavy user of GIS, and they use GIS to map all their service lines. They create map atlases for the field workers. They can also, or they do, access and collect utility information in the field. They also use it in generating boil water notices for the city's website. Notice with them now they include a map component, and that's all generated through GIS. Stormwater, they've just recently engaged an outside contractor to collect information for a stormwater GIS. It's a really big project. It's covering multiple years. And also they just also embarked with that same firm for collecting sidewalk information. So all of this will help them be able to provide better services to the citizens.
Right. Okay. And then also there's one other person that works in GIS, because clearly it'd be difficult for you to do all of this by yourself, right? So
yes,
you have somebody in
Utilities Department, Michelle Thorne, she is their GIS analyst, and we work together as a team. So, we've kind of been working quietly behind the scenes for many, many years. But the city has grown in its use of GIS. When I first started with the city, we were just getting into it and just doing very basic things with it. And now, with the collaboration that we're able to enjoy between the two analysts, we've been able to develop apps for people to take the maps out in the field. The field crews can use it out in the field, and they really do appreciate that, because in the past they would just use paper maps, and it was a little bulky.
Right.
And the information would get out of date very quickly. So this way they can have the most up-to-date information in a really easy-to-access form. They can view it on a phone or a tablet or any kind of mobile device. So they're really getting to like that.
So, yes, clearly we are using it for very important reasons. And then the end user, the resident, the customer, also gets to use the product from Geographical Information System, GIS. So a framework for gathering, managing, and analyzing data. So, Mike, what is, now I know, today is November 13th, and it's no coincidence that Mike Jones is on the podcast. You wonder, why are you talking about GIS in the middle of November? Is there any relative information to today. Well, guess what, folks? Today is GIS Day, November 13th. Yes, I did say that. There is a GIS Day. And Mike is going to share what GIS Day is. Mike?
It's true. There really is. There really is a GIS Day. And you may wonder, what is GIS Day? Actually, it's a worldwide event. It's not just something we thought up here at Sanford. Right. It's a worldwide event. It celebrates the technology of GIS. And the event provides an international forum for users of GIS technology to demonstrate how it's being used in the real world, how GIS is making a difference in society. A little fun fact, Ralph Nader, some of you may remember that guy, he inspired GIS Day as a day for geography awareness, but it was actually the National Geographic Society and the Association of American Geographers, and also the president of ESRI, one of the leaders in GIS software. They really put the day into action. The first GIS Day was November 19th, 1999. And also the National Geographic Society, in a broader attempt to raise geography awareness, they organized Geography Awareness Week each November in 1987. So since then, within that week of, we'll call it geography awareness, GIS Day typically occurs. So it's always, every November, it's always in that Geography Awareness Week, which is typically the middle week of November.
Yes, and I've noticed some posters around City Hall acknowledging GIS Day. And so what specifically, and I know this is the second or the first year that we're really promoting this GIS Day. You've got a brochure that I'm looking at right now and is available at City Hall. What's the premise behind that? Why now, Mike?
Well, this is actually the second GIS Day that we had. We organized one back in 2012, and it was somewhat successful. We're doing it again now because we're really at a point where we'd like to see the use of GIS expand in the city. And realistically, the best way to do that would be to increase awareness about GIS. People have never heard of it, then they're not going to be interested in it. So the idea is to work small. It is very small. We're not doing anything terribly big.
No more street
some
closures?
Places, no parades, no balloons or anything like that. But we felt that, let's take the time. Let's do a little bit of something to get people aware of it. And since the first GIS Day, we have more people using GIS, so it's kind of appropriate that we make other people aware of it, because we want to see everybody using it somehow, because it can benefit all the departments in the city.
Right.
There are ways that they can use it and improve the services to the citizens. So we're starting small. We're actually, what we're doing for GIS Day, because we are doing this so small, is we're actually organizing a GIS User Group, and we're having our first meeting. That's kind of our GIS Day thing, to increase geography awareness, or GIS awareness for the city.
Yeah. Is that internally, you're saying, for staff members?
Yes, it is a City of Sanford employees GIS User Group. So as I said, there are a good number of people now that use GIS in some form in the city at varying levels. So what we intend to do with the user group is, again, to promote and encourage the use of GIS, to help those that use it to be able to use it more effectively, maybe creatively come up with new ways to apply GIS technology for the jobs that they have to do. So we're encouraging all those ones to come, be part of this group. Hopefully it's the start of a wave of GIS interest in the city.
Right.
Our intent is that this will be something where, with these meetings, we'll be able to teach, encourage, collaborate, and really have something that can benefit all the people that use GIS in the city.
Yeah, that's a great way to cross-promote what people do so that our staff know what others, like you sit in the IT department and, not much interaction physically with people, but now this is a great platform to share what GIS is for the city. And all kidding aside, it's critically important for us to have this service using geographic information systems for all of our, for managing all of our data and analyzing our data. So, Mike, is there anything else that you'd like to say about GIS? Now's your chance.
What I would like to just say is if you want to find out more about GIS, take a minute or two and check out some of our maps and apps on our website. You can find it at www.sanfordfl.gov, Departments, GIS. There's a whole page there of GIS. It has applications that you can open up and play around, explore. There's also some links to some printed maps, just to give you an idea, of map products that were produced with GIS. But it also, the top of the page has a little splash graphic about GIS Day, which will take you to that site about GIS Day, which is kind of a launching point to find out more about GIS if you are interested in learning more about what GIS is and how it's used in various agencies.
Yes.
That's a good source of information.
And yes, and that's one of the reasons why we've asked you to come on the podcast and speak about this topic, because the point of the Sanford Says podcast is to share information about city services and things that we do and explain it in a manner that you can understand it and become more aware about it. So, and I have to ask you one last thing, Mike. So on the cover of the brochure that I'm looking at, there's a person hiking with a backpack, and they look like they're going up a mountain. They've got hiking shoes on, and they've got a tablet in their hand. So what's the reason that you chose this image for this particular brochure?
Because it just shows the ability of GIS to gather data basically anywhere and any kind of data. So it doesn't require anymore. It doesn't necessarily require big cumbersome equipment to do that.
I
see she's just got the thing on her back is just a GPS transponder, and it's an antenna.
I see.
To receive the GPS signal, and she's got a tablet where she's entering the information. So
you can be anywhere.
You can be anywhere,
and people use it in their private life, in their daily lives. They don't realize it. At different levels. Is that what this means, basically?
Absolutely. GIS, a lot of people use it every day. They don't realize it. Google Maps, we could say, is one thing that people use. That is, again, it's using GIS technology, although you probably wouldn't think of that.
Right.
Many places with deliveries, they use GIS to route the delivery vehicles to the destinations. When you... even if you go on Zillow and you look up your real estate, and it takes you to a map and it tells you about the neighborhood. That's all basically GIS working in the background to present that information to you. So, we probably all of us use it in some way every day and don't realize it. It's what we do here at Sanford is use it in a more focused way to try and help us make better decisions and help provide better services to the public. So.
And I'm sure it's not unique to our city. Other municipalities use it, and that's how we get the job done. So thank you, Mike. Is anything, last words? GIS Day, November 13th.
GIS Day.
Go out and celebrate.
If you miss it this year, look forward to next year. You can always go to gisday.com to find out about GIS Day, and I believe they also have the future dates for GIS Day. So who knows? Maybe you'll be using GIS one day and join the crowd.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for having me, Lisa.
You're welcome. So there you have it. Mike Jones, GIS Analyst for the City of Sanford. This is Lisa Holder, Communications Officer. You can follow this podcast on our website, sanfordfl.gov/podcast, and also on any of the podcast stations or channels that you follow. Subscribe today. Thank you again for listening, and have a great day.